Hello and welcome to Analog Insights. In today's episode we review Zinstax, a Polaroid bag for the Mamiya RZ67 which shoots Fuji Instax Square film. The Mamiya RZ67 is one of my favorite cameras, and when I first heard of this new option to shoot Instax film with it, I got really excited and of course wanted to give it a try. The Zinstax bag costs 290 euros or 350 US dollars and cleverly combines a disassembled Fuji Instax Square camera with a 3D printed mount for the Mamiya RZ67. The creator behind it is Han Chen, a business administration and engineering student at the University of Aachen, which is a city close here to Cologne in Germany. We sat down for an interview via Zoom and I asked him all about his creation, how he came up with it, the kinds of prototypes that he needed to create before he felt confident in selling it. And of course I also put the bag through its paces to review it here properly. So let's take a look at the findings. The Zinstax bag comes with an entertainingly written instruction manual which should be read carefully in order to avoid damaging the bag. For instance, the crank on the side shall only be turned in the indicated direction and not the other way around. The latest edition of the manual even comes with a QR code that takes you to a video tutorial that Han himself created, and that personally I found very instructional, and it gave me the confidence to just give the bag a try after seeing how he operated it correctly. Zinstax also comes with a laser cut dark slide that perfectly fits the bag, which means that you can easily switch between a regular film bag on the Mamiya RZ67 and the Zinstax bag, also in between shots and in between an already started Polaroid bag, so to speak, as long as you have the dark slide in there. After mounting it, you should rotate it using the R mode of the Mamiya RZ67 in order to ensure that it has the typical orientation of a Fuji Instax frame with the larger white area at the bottom of the frame. Rotating it also gives you the correct frame lines inside the viewfinder that roughly match the 6x6 format of the Fuji Instax film, which of course is really convenient here. After rotating it and mounting it, you should switch to the M mode for multiple exposure, and then you're basically ready to take your shot after removing the dark slide. You're good to go. You should also take into consideration that both films that are available, so both the black and white film and the color film, are ISO 800 films, so you should expose your shots to ISO 800 and also take the limited dynamic range of these films into account when metering. After taking your shot, all you have to do is manually crank here on the side, and then you get your just exposed Polaroid out of it. In order to better understand how Zinstax was created, I interviewed Han via Zoom and asked him a couple of questions. At first, of course, I wanted to know how he came up with the idea and also what drove him to create Zinstax.
Yeah, I was actually at the end of 2019. I was on a train back to my home, and I just had this idea to shoot instant film with my medium format camera. I thought it would be pretty cool, but I knew it wouldn't be a new idea. I knew there will be people out there already made something like this. So I just went on the web to search for products like that of like Zinstax for the RZ, but I didn't find anything. So I just wanted to make my own.
During our interview, Han also showed me his various prototypes that he needed to get from an initial idea to the final product. Overall, it took 5 to 6 iterations.
I knew right off the bat I won't have it perfect in just one step, so I had to make some prototypes. Actually, have something here. Oh, this is actually the first one I made. It's I didn't make that. It's just a mount plate from a 120 back for the RZ. I just modified it. You can see here.
So you basically disassembled an old RZ back and
Yeah,
then
right. I
and
just
disassembled also an old Instax probably, and then
yeah.
looked how they fit
It was
together.
broken. I just bought it off eBay, and it was 20 euros maybe, and yeah, just put it on here.
Great.
Use some glue here, epoxy a putty, and it worked, but it wasn't perfect. The focus was a bit off, like that. And the focus was a bit off, so I just decided to make a mount for it, and this was the first one.
Nice.
It's just a plate actually,
That was
and
3D printed probably, right?
yeah, it was printed at the university, and they didn't do a great job.
Oh
Here.
no.
Yeah, it's a bit warped. Warped? Yeah, it's a bit warped as well.
Yeah. After his studies, he intends to continue with the project on the side and probably expand it. So he has a couple of ideas in mind, but naturally didn't want to talk about it. Of course, I was curious to hear what are other cameras that he has in mind, and of course, I also read through the comments on Instagram, seeing what people typically request, other Mamiya cameras mostly, but also the Hasselblad. But unfortunately, apparently, we won't see any Hasselblad solution soon.
Oh, actually, a lot of people came to me on Instagram asking for a bag for the Hasselblad, but yeah, I had a look at it, and I think it's probably not possible to make one for the Hasselblad because the flange focal distance on the Hasselblad is a little bit shorter than the RZ, I think. And as you can see here, there's a fairly a distance here, so you can probably make something like this for the RZ. The film is pretty recessed here.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
And if you want to get the focus right, you can't probably make something like this for the RZ because
For the Hasselblad, you mean? Yeah.
yeah, for the Hasselblad, I mean, yeah.
Because the film, basically, the film plane sits further to the front in the Hasselblad case than in the RZ case.
I think it's the other way, right? The film sits much too close to the camera.
I see. Okay.
So you can't. It just can't. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
To do that, I may have to design my own ejection unit, and that's pretty difficult, I would say.
And are there any other plans for cameras that you might support in the future? I've just noticed reading through the comments that you get that many people are asking for other Mamiya cameras and things.
Yeah, I will make one for the RB as well, and maybe a Mamiya 645 down the way. And I'm not sure, maybe some Polaroid bags for the RB or RZ. in the future.
Nice. So what are my personal impressions? What stands out the most is the actual quality of the ISO 800 Fuji Instax Square film stock, because this kind of film was typically exposed using a plasticky lens from quite a distance, and you get these okay-ish blurry shots, and you just know, okay, it's coming from an inexpensive camera, and this is just the kind of Instax quality that you expect. But seeing the same film being used with a professional Mamiya RZ67 and a professional 110mm lens, and also having, thanks to this design of the Mamiya RZ67, the possibility to do really nice close-ups of certain elements like the cameras here, was just a complete surprise to me, and revealed the real quality and nature of these films. You get wonderful fine grain, you get a really high quality thanks to the almost 6x6 or basically 6x6 format. You get great quality scans, you get wonderful colors in my opinion on the color film, and the only downside really is the limited dynamic range that these films come with, and that especially in situations with harsh direct sunlight, it's almost impossible to expose the images correctly. As my sample images are really here a testament to that, where it sometimes took me 2 or even 3 exposures to get the exposure right, and to make a compromise that is not too bad, so to speak. Because what really happens if you have a scene that has really bright spots and really dark spots, you basically have to decide where you want to lose kind of details in your final image. And this image here, taken at the BMW Museum, and this entire area really is a testament to that, where you can see, depending on your exposure, you get certain details or you lose them, and you really have to make a choice per image. Of course, that is all related to the film, but Zinstax kind of gives you access to this film stock suddenly. And for me, because of that, Zinstax was a game changer, because I never thought about using Fuji Instax film for professional applications, and now I can easily see myself shooting an entire editorial with the Mamiya RZ67 and Zinstax attached to it, and plan to do so soon actually. Looking also at Zinstax itself, for me, what I like about it is that it is fully mechanical. You don't need any kind of batteries. It comes with a fairly solid construction, given that it's basically a 3D printed element and the plastic elements of a Fuji Instax. But you don't feel it. It doesn't look misplaced on the Mamiya RZ67, but instead, to me, it looks really well designed and really fitting to the camera. And overall, I just really enjoy using it, and also enjoy using the crank and getting my my exposed frames out of it manually. And it even reminds me a little bit of the Mamiya RB67, where you always had to kind of cock the shutter and then also advance the film back. And it feels kind of similar here, that after each frame you just need to take your time and get the frame out there. So overall, I was really surprised. For me, Zinstax is a game changer and a nice access point to opening up these wonderful films, and also exploring the limitations of these films. And I find that challenging and interesting, and I'm really looking forward to using it more often. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Analog Insights and our review of Zinstax, a Fuji Instax Polaroid bag for the Mamiya RZ67. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to like it and maybe even share it with your friends. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our channel. Jules, Greg, and I really appreciate each and every subscriber coming our way. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you soon. Bye.